Hey there everybody, it is Rachel from Merrick Makings, independent stamping up demonstrator in Australia. I wanted to show you how very quickly to put a card like this together. Now this is a fun fold I made for Easter. It sort of sits up on a little box, I guess you could say, but it folds flat for postage. So today, to replicate it, I am using this gorgeous, I think it's called Lily Pond Lane DSP. You are going to cut the base panels. I have popped the measurements for everything that you will need down the bottom of the video. So like all my videos, please go back, pause it, and copy it down so that you know what to do. So I do create those two little boxes for the base to begin with and then set them aside so they adhere really well. I have put an acrylic stamp block on top. Now this is a framed card, so I did use in the original Easter card, I used a retired frame. This one is actually from the Storybook Moments. I would suggest cutting out at least 3 of using the thick cardstock. This is going to give you stability so it will stand up on its own. So you adhere them on top of each other using small amounts of Tombow glue. If you're clever, you'll probably use a craft mat underneath. I didn't, so I will need to clean my desk later on. However, very simply, just pop them together and allow them to dry. Whilst that's happening, I am decorating my base pieces, these 2 blocks, I'm going to call them, with some DSP. So it's gorgeous DSP. We haven't heard whether or not this is retiring. I'm just assuming it is. So I wanted to show off the fact that this DSP not only has some gorgeous background type of prints, but also these lovely little ducks and scenery that you can use on a card like this. So I've only decorated 3 out of the 4 sides of the block, and you'll see why shortly, because you actually adhere 2 sides together. And in that's how it folds flat, but it does stand up on its own as well. Popping those aside just to dry a little bit, and then I'm going to use the main panel. Now this is basically the same size as a standard card. I am in Australia, so everything is in centimetres. You can make it whatever size you like. You can use whatever frame you like and adjust the measurements for that. But it's pretty straightforward. When I saw this demonstrated recently on I think it was on it might have been a reel or something like that, and I don't even remember who it was. I saw them put these 2 pieces together with that center panel, and I went, oh my goodness, this is such an easy, fun fold, and so much fun as well. You can make your blocks on the bottom as big or as small as you like. The bigger they are, the more stable your card will be. Here is my tip for you. So for the frame, put plenty of adhesive on that. But don't go above it, obviously. You only want it to adhere to that bottom block piece. And then let it dry, like set it aside and let it dry. Now I have added, and I just pointed out in the other card, I have added a little second pop-up element. If you've got little critters or something like I have in both of these cards, I wanted it to have one other layer. That's pretty straightforward. You're cutting a strip and then basically cutting it into, scoring it into equal amounts to form a little box, a little hollow box. No different to the base of this particular card, but just in miniature. And then you can use that adhered, so it actually still will fold flat, but you have this extra layer of pop-up that you have going. Lots of fun. Make sure if you're doing this though that you are, I guess, covering that pop-up piece with something at the front. You don't want to see it is what I'm trying to say, and this will become evident when I pop this onto my card. Now the one thing I will say is that it does take you a minute or 2 for that Tombow glue to dry and to make sure that it all sticks together. And you'll see here I'm going to pop it down like that, so it's adhering to the back, and then I'm going to pop a block on top to let it sit. Now I didn't let it sit long enough and it didn't stick, so I'm going to add a little bit more, and then I'm going to grab my little tweezers. They're from the embossing kit that you can buy. This is just going to hold it together really firmly whilst I set it aside for a few minutes. You just want, once it's glued down, once it's adhered, it's fine. Now, this card, and I show my process here, I actually fiddle around a little bit. My Easter one is chock-a-block full. I did add things to the frame. You just have to be aware that when you're adding bulk to the front of the card and nothing in the back actually it will sort of sit a little bit forward. So my tip to you is, if you're going to have some of these on display, just throw a little something that's going to weight them down inside whilst it's on display in those little boxes underneath. But generally you can manipulate it and it will sit up pretty well, but you don't want that frame to be overloaded either. So in this card, I didn't do that. I didn't add extra to the frame. I just added it all to the base of those blocks and the card itself. Add a little bit of ink blending, just making sure that my sentiment does match my background a little bit. And then I did have these were cut out from, I don't know, 12 months ago. When I first got this DSP, I had these little leafy elements. I don't even know where I cut them from. It'll be one of those artistic dies that you get that you can use standalone. So I already had these, so please don't ask me where I got them, because they were already in my little packet with all my pre-cut ducks and things. And you can see I am playing with a little bit just to see how much I want to add. I didn't want to overload it, like I said, so I've left it as it is. Now that is pretty much me. Make sure that you do like this video. Check that you've subscribed and you've got your little alarm for when the next video comes up, and make sure you share with your friends too. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye bye for now.